So we have everything leveled out and cut up and
You got
almost
a
ready to go.
scaffold.
Yeah. But no, my favorite thing about this is something that I learned from my mom, and I never really thought about it as important growing up. Like,
Yeah,
it was
just kind of a thing.
we did together. But yeah, I find that as you get older, you look for this sense of identity, who you are in the world. You have questions, and only in the last couple of years have I really dove back into culture. And I realized this too, where it's like these bits and pieces that I grew up with that I know about, but then I'll call my mom and I'll be like, "Oh, do you remember doing this? Do you know anything about this?" So protocol, cooking. There's also this thing called pemmican. So it's actually one of the most calorie dense foods that you can get, and it was ideal for traveling long distances.
I've been reading a lot about it in some of the research I was doing from other episodes. They talk about bringing pemmican along with them.
And it's funny because I was like, I always knew about it, and I taught and as I got into it and got into cooking and culture, I brought it up to my mom. I was like, "Oh, I know how to do that."
Yeah. What is pemmican? We should explain that.
So yeah, pemmican is some type of protein mixed in with berries and fat. So you could have it on bannock with lard, fat, margarine, butter, and then it's almost like this jerky texture, I suppose. And you'd mix it in with a protein, whether that be whatever kind of meat you had at the time. And then
is it like fresh meat? It's dry, isn't it?
It's dried meat, yes. Yeah. So that's another thing too, where it's this whole separate process. And I wish I knew more. And this is the thing.
Exactly.
I wish I knew more on how to make it. My mom does, and that was the thing. So I asked her about it one day, and it was like, "Oh, well, I know how to do that."
Yeah.
And then it's like, "Oh, well, why didn't you tell me?" And then it kind of comes, "Well, you've never asked."
I think that's one of those things, though, too. You talk about you didn't really learn how to do it. It just kind of came around. It's one of those things that, well, you never asked. Yeah, exactly. No, it's just a skill.
And that's the thing is my mom's always been big. She's always showed us. She's always been culturally in tune. But as I got older, I started asking more questions, getting more involved. We started doing more things together. And even for her, it's become how we spend time together.
Yeah,
how we've
it's sharing that.
Yeah, so we've gotten to connect as adults even now on a whole different level because of it.
I think that's always a different thing though too. It's like the childhood versus the adult, and like because as a kid, you're like, oh yeah, this is just how it is. This is just normal. But as an adult, you can look back and go like, oh, like I can actually understand where you're coming from now too, and see these things. So
no, and that's the nice part when I talk about like getting older and looking into my identity and what that means for me as like a Cree woman and connecting with my mom. So yeah, it makes me realize that these things that I learned as a kid and the fact that I always saw it as almost a chore helping cooking.
Yeah.
But now I look back at my childhood.
Or you're like, I'm glad I did that.
Yes. It's my favorite thing because even now with my partner, he always kind of teases me. It's like, you always cook so much and like you don't know how to cook for just a small amount of people, or you don't know how to just... I can't, like, I always have to mix something. I have to make my own. I always have to... I don't follow a recipe. Like, cooking is just...
It's just cooking.
It's just fun and how I show my love.
I get that. I've always loved to feed people. I mean, we've known each other for years, and you can attest to the amount of times that I would come and go like, have you eaten yet? Someone comes into my house and I'm like, do you need anything? Like, are you hungry? Like, I get you a drink? And if they say no, it's like, are you sure? Like, I have a hard time, like, tradespeople will come in and I'm like, I can't offer them food, but I'm like, do you guys want something to eat? Like, you good?
No, it's prominent in a lot of cultures. Even back in the day, I exchanged recipes with one of my friend's moms. She's Ukrainian, and she taught me how to make petafe, so pierogies.
Oh, okay.
Traditionally, and then I taught her how to make bannock.
So that's the whole exchange thing we were talking about, the protocol.
Yep, and that's the thing where it's like equivalent exchange. You give something that you think is the same value as what you're receiving. But,
I honestly, I love that though too. It's just that we really just like bread or dough, don't we? It's just as humans, like the amount of, like, if you think of what pierogies is, it's like, it's dough wrapped around something. I mean, we just really like dough.
Yep. Even this too. Like, I love it because you can make it into dessert. You can make it into an entree. You could make it into it's a snack, or even you could use it instead of like I've seen people use it as bread to make a sandwich.
Yeah,
like
that'd
it's
be a good
very.
sandwich.
Oh gosh, I could. If there was more time, I would show you how to make a sandwich. But we've got
do that next time. Next time.
We've got to cook these now, so we're gonna make our way into the kitchen with the oil. Heat it up now at about just over a medium heat. Not boiling, but you still want to make sure that it's hot enough that once you take a piece off, you throw in the oil and it starts to bubble. So we'll go and do that now.
Sounds good.
Okay. We might need a plate.
Okay, so we're in the...
This is the hard part. So you want to heat up the oil just above medium, not boiling, but hot enough so you see squiggles in the oil.
Why not boiling? Just...
Because it's too hot, and then it'll burn the bannock before it cooks it all the way through.
Okay.
So if you were to have a thicker piece, it would really not...
Oh, we have a rack there, perfect.
No, we're fine.
Okay,
so we're going to test it first. Take a smaller piece.
We just drop it in?
Yeah, you see how it's boiling?
Okay.
That's what you're looking for. So I'm going to throw this in because it's fun. And then even that, give it a minute. And this is why you need a deeper oil, because then it'll rise.
Okay.
And that's what you're looking for. So grab a piece.
Okay.
Slowly put it in. Don't just drop it. Yeah, so let it rise a little bit. Let it rise. Let it rise. You can see you wait for it just to start. And then once it starts, then you drop the whole thing in. Yep, perfect.
I'm so frightened to burn myself.
No, that's fine. And then
Down with it.
even this, yeah, because you got to be careful. You don't want it boiling too much and the oil going everywhere.
Yeah. Do we have to flip it or anything? Or...
Yep, we'll get there.
Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, I was going to say. So we have enough room. We're going to keep putting it in. And with the time that we have in between each time we put it in, that'll give us the time to flip them and take them out.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I'm too much of a keener.
Yeah. And then we can throw in one more.
Littler one.
Yep.
So.
And you don't want them to touch. You don't want them to stick together, because then it'll make it that much more difficult the more as you handle them.
Okay.
Yep, that's fine. So you just gotta move them over, make sure they don't touch. And you see how thick it's getting?
Yeah, it's expanding.
Even though we made it as flat as possible. So that's what you gotta be careful with, is you want to make sure it cooks enough. And then see how golden brown that is? That's what you're going for, is the color at the edge.
And I know this is good. I know the answers I'm gonna get here. Like, how do you know when it is cooked? Is it just
So this is the thing. This is why you have it at a lower temperature. I don't know that it's cooked all the way through.
But you can know the visual, what it's supposed to look like.
And so that's what you're looking for. A little brown on the edges. And see how it's a little slightly darker with this one? Because that one got
it earlier.
Exactly. So you give it a little bit of time, and you flip it.
Oh, that looks nice.
And then same thing, give it a few more seconds. Honestly, you could probably just flip it now. You don't want it too dark, but you don't want it too light either.
Yeah,
you
want a good golden.
Like a golden marshmallow.
Ooh,
right? Alright, so...
I'm gonna grab a plate, so I guess we can put these on.
Yep, and then a little bit of paper towel on it, please.
Okay.
And rather quickly, because this is all time sensitive.
Then we're gonna grab right out of you there.
Thank you. Alright, so you want to lift the smallest piece out first?
Okay. Dump it on there. Okay.
Perfect. And then this one was next. Lift the side, check at the bottom. See it's that same color all the way through. Yep. Bring it over.
Okay.
Next one.
So check the other side.
Yeah. Same consistency of brown. And so even this. So look at how thick they are.
Yeah.
That's the baking soda.
Okay.
And so that's what makes it so fluffy. Even
so
though
like a baking powder would be different texture.
It wouldn't rise as much. It would still rise, but
it'd be a different.
Yeah. So look at how thin this is, and the same thing. Stretch it out just a little as you go in.
Oh, so you can almost like see through it almost.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It'll be easier to cook. If it's this thick and it doesn't cook that long, you might have a doughy inside. So you got to be careful.
So you kind of want to spread it out a bit more.
Exactly.
same thing. Give it a chance to rise. So
I like that. Yeah, that's
bottom.
cool.
Yeah.
Make that look like I said. I'm so petrified of burning myself. You just do that so casually.
You get real used to it, man. You get real used to it. Yeah. And that's why you want that, like, not too high, but high enough to cook, but not high enough that it completely spatters everywhere.
Yeah.
I also don't want to make a mess of your mom's kitchen.
That's fair.
Okay. And then same thing. Get a little more. Honestly, can you grab me a fork? We could even put more holes into it.
Okay.
Because you want that to cook all the way through.
Oh, yeah. Probably.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, good.
I was gonna say, you don't want to hold it up for me while I step.
No, I don't feel like getting stabbed in the hand today.
Yeah, that probably
okay.
would be an interesting end to the bannock.
So, you see, check that side and see how brown it is.
So this one?
Yeah. A little light still.
So, and we'll check
Just
this
a smidge. So that one was thinner. That's dark enough. Flip. So, yes, you want to flip them in the order they were put into, but it also depends on the thickness.
Yeah. I know this was the one you put in first, too. So.
Yeah. This is, so it's
Check
everything.
This one now?
Yeah, she should be good to flip. Yeah, you're fine. So again, it's all visual. You see the slight color difference?
Yeah, this one's a bit darker in there.
Yeah, but even still, so it was thinner, it cooks a little bit faster. This one is a bit thicker, it'll take a while. But then depending on what you do with them too, so if you're making tacos, if you're making a dessert, if it's
kind of how you want to do them, like how you want to lay it out.
Yeah, so the shape of them. Like that one would be perfect for an Indian taco.
So check, is that one good?
Yep.
Because it's got that white section.
That's fine. So it's thinner, and see how the oil's coming up? That'll cook the inside.
Okay.
So that's what the holes are for. That's why, yep, perfect. Good eye. Take her off. And then we'll leave the thicker one in there just a little bit longer.
Okay. Should I put another piece in then?
Yep. Same thing. Stretch it out and poke more holes.
Alright.
I feel like my mom teaching when I was younger. This is how she talked to me in the step-by-step.
Yeah.
And then,
that's so cool, though.
No, it's how we teach each other, and that's how we learned. Culturally, you get shown how to do it. You do it alongside of them.
Yeah.
And even working when I was a kid. Oh, careful! It's getting. Oh. You don't want them to touch when they're wet with dough. That one's kind of pull out. Go ahead. It's very time sensitive. So even that, like, I grew up doing this. If I burnt it or I messed up, it was part of the learning process.
Yeah. Is that one good?
Yeah, you're good. And so you get more used to the steps. You know what to look out for because you're alongside them as they do it.
You're doing it with them. It's not just a... I like that it's not just a solo way. Like, you can do it, I mean, by yourself if you want it to.
Of course.
But, I mean, just with how much we've made with just this little, like, it definitely just... It kind of lends itself to sharing, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you could... I could eat all of this. I shouldn't eat all of this. But even that, so this is just the 2 cups of flour, the little bit of salt, the little bit of baking soda that we had, and this is enough for a whole meal for a family.
Oh, yeah.
And max, you spend,
right?
That should be okay. Because again, the same thing, it's a little thinner, and then those holes are going to come up, so it'll cook all the way through.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I didn't have was the oil. Like, this is all stuff I just had in the pantry.
Yeah, it's really cheap. It's an easy staple. The max, if you were to go out and buy everything new, you might spend $20, $30, maybe.
Yeah.
But even then, it's mostly everything that you already have in the kitchen. Okay, that'll be our last piece. Do we want to do all of it?
I mean, we have it all, so we might as well.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hide the butter.
So yeah, we're all finished our bannock here. We got a nice pile.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy it.
Dress it up. Yeah. You can put butter, jam. You can make tacos with it. People treat it as like a dessert and put icing sugar, different things on it.
Icing sugar. Yeah.
Any way you use bread, honestly, or even a donut or whatever your heart imagines.
Yeah.
But no, this. Yeah, of course. My favorite part about this though is it's part of I learned from my mother and she learned from her mother. As women, it was always our job to make sure that our families are fed and taken care of. And if
it's just a part of culturally Indigenous people have their matriarchs, which usually comes through the women's line.
Okay.
And so the women have a huge role in family. It's important. Like, those are the leaders. So even still, when I think about everything that I learned about culture, my family, our traditions, our protocol, it's all through my mom. It's all through my grandma. It's all through my aunts. So women are the focal point of families. They keep things together and they keep their families fed.
Yeah.
So
that's one reason I really was happy when we talked about it. We decided to do the bannock. Is that's kind of what I want to focus on with this show. That's great. Don't worry. Is the women's stories, and I think the idea that this is something that, like, because you mentioned this, like, your mother taught you this, her mother, your grandmother taught her, and so, like you said, like, it's passed down that, and I think that's just a really beautiful way to share it, and you're sharing it with me, and I appreciate deeply that you were wanting to share this with me.
No, there's a reason I did it, Maddie. You're one of my best friends growing up. You were beside me as I figured out how to do this, and just even how I got taught. It was just a part of our life. It was, you just grow up doing it. You don't even realize you're being taught something. And
it's just a part of life.
And I was excited because now you're not just the mixer, you're not just an eater. You actually, when we've done it in the past together, you were never allowed to fry.
Yeah, no, I was always the scary part.
And now you can do the whole thing yourself.
I know. It's wild to think that I know how to do it all now.
Yep. No, so it comes over time, it comes with practice, and yeah, it's just an excuse to get into the kitchen and hang out. So I'm glad we got to do this too.
I'm glad we did too.
Yeah, want to do it with anybody else.
Perfect friend. Cheers. Flora.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers, man. As we come to the end of Mad Dog's Herstory here, I first want to thank you all for coming along with me on this journey through my hometown's history. This has been a true labor of love, from countless hours of research, of writing, and that's not all to mention all of the work that has gone on behind the camera. My director, my editor, he's worn a lot of hats during this whole production, has spent so much time making these episodes that you've been watching. If you could have one takeaway of this show, I would like it to be, when you're looking at history, that you look beyond the normal side of it. That you look at the stories of women, of children, and of the people who didn't fit into the conventional means, essentially. In conclusion, I'd like to thank you all for joining us on this journey through my hometown's colorful history. I hope that you've learned something along the way and you feel inspired to look beyond the page and deeper into the narrative. Turning her story into history, one story at a time.